I think it's a really important development. I mean, Öcalan has for many years talked about return to, not a return to, but the focus should be on a democratic struggle. And the declaration he gave this year really consolidated that position. And again, like many other statements previously from Öcalan, it is in its breadth of understanding quite inspirational. The events that followed that, the burning of the guns, the decision to disband and end the armed struggle, are brave, very brave decisions to be made by people in that situation. And hopeful. The slight doubt, of course, is that you expect a response from the Turkish authorities. And so far, I don't think that's been a particularly encouraging response. So I'm not a Kurd and I'm not there, but I would embrace the direction of travel, but I would also have a concern that the state, Erdogan, is not reciprocating in any way, as far as I'm aware. The struggle for freedom and justice has to be through peace and democracy. I think we've all concluded that a long time ago. And the Kurds are leading in that once again. I think his physical freedom is critical. First of all, for the sense of justice, that he should be free, but also as a symbol of where we want to be, where the state wants to be. Öcalan's freedom symbolises the freedom of all people in Kurdistan and indeed wider in Turkey as well. So it's a really important step to freedom. The whole peace process is not reliant on one man, and no matter how great he is, of course, but as a symbol of where we want to be, where the people want to be, and hopefully where the government eventually want to be. It is really important that he is physically free, that he's able to speak to Parliament, but more importantly than that, speak to the people and those people who are on the ground in the daily struggle. In order to speak to people abroad, because there's a lot of people throughout the world who are very interested in what's going on, and we need a spokesperson like Öcalan who can speak, as they say, speak truth to power, not just in Turkey, but in Europe, in America, and elsewhere. I think if we are able to achieve a democratic and peaceful solution to Turkey's problems, it would transform the situation in the Middle East. It would be a beacon to peoples of the Middle East looking for a peaceful, democratic future. I think that would be a real achievement. So it's not just about Turkey; it is about the entire Middle East and beyond that. If we can solve if we can achieve the solution in Turkey, then that would be a huge step forward for the peoples throughout the Middle East. A democratic society has to hear from all voices, particularly those people whose voices aren't heard normally. And I think the trade unions, the women's movement, other organisations, human rights organisations, the youth, all of them should be heard. And any commission which is serious about addressing these issues must make space for those people. Peace has to be built amongst the communities and the workplaces and the streets, because if it isn't, then it's very fragile. We have a responsibility to show solidarity to our trade union brothers and sisters. My own union, UNISON, has very good close relationships with KESK and the SES, the SES Health Union. We had visitors from KESK at our conference in Liverpool earlier this year. So that's the first thing, that we work with those trade unions, we listen to what they say and what they want us to do. I think I can reflect on our experience in the United Kingdom with the peace process in Ireland. And during that peace process, there was talks between different sides, the unionists and the nationalists. But below that, there was lots of discussions among civic society. We had trade unions, the own union in particular, took a leading role in that, because, as I said earlier on, we need to engage on the street. We need to engage with other people, with men and women, with young people. So trade unions in Northern Ireland had a very critical role with that. They were able to say some things that perhaps politicians on either side couldn't say at different times. We could be open and honest about the need for peace, why the trade union movement, working class people generally, have no more energy left for violence and lack of democracy. So trade unions are really important in that way. And whatever, from our point of view, we would take advice from trade unions in Turkey. What do you need us to do? What do you want us to do? Trade unions in this country have a bit of a responsibility to put pressure on our own government. We still have a government that is shy of challenging Turkey. When we see some of the events, people who've been arrested, journalists being imprisoned, and so on and so forth, our government in the UK should be speaking out much louder about that.